Welcome back to the Baseball Village and another game rewind as we look back at the best of the year that was here at the Baseball Village. I'm Cory McCartney. That's Grayson Rosen. And we have assembled a baseball's version of the Avengers for this one as we hit the National Program Invitational and the 17U Division Championship between Canes Midwest and Knation Scout. Every player who is going to take the field in this game is a committed or signee to a college. That includes a long list of power programs. You've got a number of prep baseball All-Americans, guys who are on the way to Super 60. And Grayson, a lot of names that we're probably going to hear at this summer's MLB draft.
Yeah, this is just a wealth of talent that you're going to see on display. You're going to be hard-pressed to find anything close to this talent-wise really anywhere in the nation throughout the year.
Star-studded, to say the least. So let's take a look at the lineups as, again, we'll have Canes Midwest and Knation Scout in the 17U Championship from the National Program Invitational. Canes Midwest going to lead off with center fielder Brandon Logan. Then it's pitcher Mason Barth, catcher Taylor Belza, shortstop Zahir Barjum, then first baseman Will Coleman, second baseman Landon Fry, left fielder Landon Sarkey, third baseman Matthew Major, and right fielder Drew Graft hitting ninth. Knation Scout will be led off by shortstop JoJo Parker, then it's center fielder Joshua Lim, then extra hitter Marshall Loke, DH Jacob Parker, Kyle Perkins playing right field and hitting fifth, hitting sixth and playing first base is Cole Dean, followed by third baseman Trey Bryant, then it's catcher Andrew Klopinski, then left fielder Noah Lewis, and second baseman Dane Ray, and Colin Haney will be on the mound. So let's hit the Baseball Village for this week's Game Rewind. Diving right into our action here. Again, Knation going to have Colin Haney, the right-hander, on the mound. He'll be facing Brandon Logan, Mason Barth, and Taylor Belza. A little intel here on Colin Haney for you. Colin coming in as a Jones College signee out of Columbia High School in Mississippi, 6 foot, 160-pounder. Got a fastball around 84, change up to 62 to 63, curveball 75, 76, and a slider that's 67 to 68. He's a 2022 junior future gamer. Going to have his hands full to start things off here, Grayson, as he faces Brandon Logan.
Yeah, this is going to be quite a lineup to face, really, for both teams. The pitchers have their work cut out for them, but Brandon Logan getting the leadoff spot, the Notre Dame commit. He's a dual sport athlete as well, three-star safety as well out of Snyder High School in Indiana and Fort Wayne, and he's going to give him some life here. He's a top 60 player in the nation or top 70 player in the nation, and looking to get things started right here.
He fouls that one off, 83 mile an hour. Yeah, I'm sure a guy who's got his clear full attention on the college football playoff is Notre Dame as of this recording, sitting in the semifinals. Got a matchup with Penn State this weekend. Logan's 6 foot, 185-pounder.
Yeah, we won't get too deep into the college football playoff talk today, but I'm sure you've got plenty of things to say about your Buckeyes. But
that's right.
I won't get you started.
Brandon Logan has a very dated 60 time on his prep baseball profile of 6.63, which is extremely fast, and that's a at this point almost 4-year-old number for him. So you know it's a lot quicker for, as you mentioned, the Notre Dame bound two-sport athlete.
Yeah, if I had to guess, a guy who's ranked 15th in the state of Indiana overall and is a safety is a little bit faster than that. But working a good at bat right here. Him and Haney having a bit of a fight.
Yeah, had his share of a lot of options in both sports. Indiana, Iowa, and Vanderbilt were also hot on his tail for football. Miss from Haney. They're working this count here.
You're looking at 2-2 for Brandon Logan.
Logan sends that one back foul. Next pitch will be the 7th. Not sure Haney envisioned he'd be going 7 pitches in his first at bat here of this game.
It's a tough way to start your day. It kind of throws you off a little bit, expecting to kind of see some easy work here in the first inning, and you get caught up on your first batter.
Logan puts this one in play, or ropes this one down the right side. That's going to drop into the corner. Logan's on his way to second base. He's going to hold there. Nope, he's on his way into third. Brandon Logan is going to hold at third base, got himself a leadoff triple to get things started for Canes Midwest.
Yeah, safe to say we might need to update his 60 time. He was absolutely flying in a really, really unfortunate, or at least for Knights Nation, unfortunate bounce off the wall there that almost rolled all the way back up to the infield. But great work by Brandon Logan, fighting through that at bat and getting himself a triple to finish.
Fires off an 85-mile-an-hour fastball from the hand of Haney into the corner, finds himself standing at third, and now here is Mason Barth.
His fellow Notre Dame commit, signee.
Yeah, Barth, who you'll see on the mound here shortly for Canes Midwest out at Andrean High School in Indiana. Jumps on the first pitch, sends that one off the hand nearly of Haney as he tries to barehand that one. Would have had some ill fortune. He had allowed that one to make contact with his hand, but it bounces over top of him, and Barth has himself standing at first base with a RBI single off the first pitch he sees from Haney.
Yeah, very, very quick work here by Canes Midwest to get on the board, and this is a huge start when you're looking at the championship game here.
Now we'll see Auburn signee Taylor Belza. We've seen Belza many a time here at LakePoint Sports, had him mic'd up this past summer. Maddie Bullock spent some time with him. You know, she loved the manners that he showed. Very respectful young man behind the plate when he was talking with the umpires. But, man, you talk about a guy who absolutely brings it now, playing for P27 Academy on his way through Ohio, the #1 catcher in Ohio, second overall in the class of 2025. Runner's going to take off as the pickoff from Haney goes over eye.
Okay. I just saw it's maybe a little bit of a baseball faux pas in my eyes. The fake tag. The fake, like the ball's about to come in to force a guy to slide, not a fan. Not a fan of that move. I see why people do it, but to me, not a fan.
How do you feel about the deke in the outfield when a guy feigns?
That's
always
fine.
Okay.
That's fine, but making a guy slide out of nowhere when he's not really anticipating doing it can be a little dangerous. I've seen it happen to people where they hurt themselves on that play, so not a fan of the fake slide or the fake tag to make a guy slide.
All right, so we've already gotten under Grayson's skin here early in this matchup. Going back to Belza, I mentioned he's the top-ranked catcher in Ohio in 2025, second overall, 15th in the nation at the position. Pop time down to 194, got an 81 catcher velo, and matches that with exit velos into triple digits at the plate. He swings through that one with some ill intent. 78.6 bat speed. He was a guy who was here for future games in 2023, a guy who in February I'll get to see in Chicago at the Super 60, so it's going to be a lot of fun. A number of players in this matchup will be represented at Super 60, which is its own kind of monster. I mean, it's at the Max outside Chicago as he sends that one foul. And just dozens of MLB scouts there as these guys go through a showcase environment to kind of get their year started. And it's always interesting to talk to guys who go to Super 60 because it's such a weird time for them to ratchet up.
Yeah.
Because it's well before anything's happening for the high school season. If you're a pitcher, you've kind of got to tailor something that you can show out at that event for these scouts, but you're not going to want to run yourself too hot because you're going to have actual meaningful baseball coming in a couple weeks as the high school seasons get started, especially in states like here in Georgia. But it's a really cool environment, and these guys really get a chance to kind of test their skills in front of MLB scouts.
Yeah, I think you're fortunate for a lot of these players. You know, just about all of them are signees by the time they get up to Super 60, and I think that takes a little bit of the pressure off. You know that you've put a lot on display throughout the years and years that you've been playing the game, and obviously if there are MLB scouts there to watch you, they've probably heard of you before. They've maybe seen you before. So, you know, I don't think there's too much pressure, but of course it's still a big event. You still got eyes on you. It's a tough place to perform.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's going into it, as you mentioned, with ill-informed or uninformed on who these players are. But certainly, I think you're watching, too, for the characteristics that you look for in a pitch and the characteristics you look for in mechanics at the plate, you know, how a guy moves as opposed to, you know, okay, wow, that guy had 104 exit velo. Got to mark that one down because that may not happen in an event where some of these guys haven't really played baseball in a couple months.
Definitely.
Taylor Belza works himself a walk. 8-pitch AB for him, finds himself standing at first base. Canes Midwest now has Barth at second and Belza at first.
And this is a great start offensively for Canes Midwest. You really can't ask for more. You start off, and in your first 3 batters, you've already got a run on the board. You got 2 more on with no outs, and you forced your starter to already throw 16 pitches.
On the topic of Super 60, here's another player who will be in attendance. I hear Barzum, West Virginia signee. He's the 4th-ranked shortstop in Florida, number 44 in the class of 2025 at the position. But, man, if you're top 4 in Florida at the most athletic position on the field, that's really saying something.
Yeah, he is an extremely talented player, and a few months after this would find his way at Senior Future Games, hit a home run at Senior Future Games that was absolutely crushed. So Zahir Bardum's definitely a name to look out for. Committed to West Virginia after Senior Future Games, and like you said, he'll be at Super 60 as well.
Exit velo's up to 102.1, bat speed of 78.9.
And a P27 teammate of Taylor Bell's.
Yeah, we were fortunate for a couple years to have the National Academies Association tournament here at LakePoint Sports. They've since moved on to another location, but it was really a lot of fun to see TNXL and P27 and all those teams come out here and get it was just a number of guys where you were just like, oh, I'm going to hear his name at the draft. And it was a lot of those kind of players, and certainly, those schools bring it a different way than some of the other tournaments that we have, but they are absolutely loaded when you think about Barzum and Belza being big pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, lots of talent on those academy rosters, and it's definitely, I think, a hot topic between some of the guys. I think there's 3 big distinctions when it comes to the high school baseball kind of landscape, and it's obviously public high school, private schools, and then you obviously throw in the academies, which aren't really as popular in other sports, so it maybe doesn't get as much attention, but in baseball it's certainly prevalent, and it's a big factor in college recruiting as well, is what you're looking for at the academy level.
Well, they certainly make it easy on the scouts. You're going to go there and you're going to see a bunch of high-level players.
Exactly.
The cream rises, and they put them all together. And Barzum's going to draw himself a walk. So all of a sudden, Knights Nation finds themselves in trouble. They've already given up 1 run, and now the bases are loaded. So they'll now move to having Will Coleman step to the plate.
Yeah, the Kentucky commit also found himself at Senior Future Games a couple months after this tournament, and can see what he can bring.
Looks like we just got a call in. I think that's going to be the end of the day for Colin Haney.
Wow, an early move, but you almost kind of saw it coming with how this day has started, and this is a championship game. You really can't afford to not use the pitching you have left.
Well, Colin Haney unable to record an out, and now we'll see who they replace. When we come back, we'll tell you about the new pitcher for Knights Nation Scout. The new pitcher for Knights Nation Scout, Jacob Parker, Mississippi State signee, a guy who is one of the most feared hitters across any high school lineup, travel ball lineup, and now he gets to show his wares on the mound where he's up to 90 mile an hour with a changeup that sits 81 to 84 and a curveball 69 to 73. Also has his twin brother JoJo in this lineup, and that's their dad back there in the blue shirt in the chair behind them. He's an athlete in his own right back in the day, and certainly enjoys watching his 2 boys who are both on their way to Mississippi State. And Jacob steps into a pretty tough position here with the bases loaded and nobody out, and his team already down 1-0.
Yeah, we'll see what he can bring here. You're definitely just kind of in emergency mode here now. You got to get outs however you can. There you go. There's a deep fly ball for the shortstop that he corrals in and saves them from giving up a run.
Yeah, shallow enough that the shortstop's able to make the play, but nobody's taken off the third base on a ball hit that softly into the outfield. So there will be now finally 1 down for Knights Nation as Will Coleman goes down on the pop out, and now here's Landon Fry.
Yeah, Jacob Parker off to a much better start than Colin Haney, unfortunately.
Swing and a miss on that first offering.
Did he swing at that one? Came up at his
Oh, I
head?
saw his bat coming around. No, actually, that was a ball.
Okay.
Start looking down at your notes and you just glance up. Sends that one into play, so 3 pitches in. Able to make the catch. Runners taking off from third in the tag. 2 down, but another run does score for Canes Midwest, who now lead 2-0 off the sacrifice fly from Landon Fry.
Yeah, and you advance from second to third, so now you got runners on the corners. You eliminate one of those plays there, and now a single scores a run. So
Landon Fry, the Indiana signee, does a job, as they say, and it's now 2-0. Now we're going to see Landon Sarkey, Marion University signee, out of Hanover Central High School in Indiana.
It was here back in 2021 for the Junior Future Games.
We talk about it all the time, but I love seeing the transitions of kids that when those state directors get on these guys early and then they watch them become, a college signee. I think that just speaks to what prep baseball is capable of. But we're seeing a lot of that in this game because there are a ton of kids on both sides of the field, both sides of these dugouts here in this game that have future games on their profiles.
Yeah, I think when you look across both these rosters, especially these two programs, Knights Nation almost always going to find some of the best talent from around Louisiana and Mississippi on that team. And for Canes Midwest, you're going to find a lot of the best talent across kind of Indiana, Ohio, Illinois in these lineups. So it's definitely a testament to what the prep baseball guys are doing in those states that are finding these guys as well.
Sarkey draws himself a walk. Now the bases are going to be loaded again, and now we're going to see Matthew Major.
Tulane commit.
Yeah, to Troy Christian High School in Ohio, not too far from my native part of Ohio in the Bell Fountain area. Troy Christian was always a football powerhouse, and Matthew at 6'1", 200 pounds, I would imagine, finds his way onto the field for the Eagles.
Might need to talk to some of the guys in the other lineup about Tulane, get some of their thoughts.
There you go. They know all about it. Well, it might be of note that none of those kids from Louisiana are actually headed to Tulane, so who knows what they would tell Matthew Major. But certainly going into a good program that once had Shooter Hunt, prep baseball vice president of scouting, among its on its roster. So there'll be no ill words spoken of Tulane here because Shooter will tell you all kinds of things, especially about the food. Major puts this one in play. Second baseman has it, tags the bag, and that will bring an end to the inning. But Canes Midwest have a 2-0 lead. We'll be back from MPI.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, you'll always find more fun with great brands at the best prices. More of this, and this. So you can get together for a little of that, and a lot more of that. And even some of that, and that's good. Have more fun with great brands at the best prices. Only at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Back at it, get our first look at Knights Nation Scout at the plate here in this championship game from the 17U division of the National Program Invitational. JoJo Parker, the Mississippi State signee, will lead things off, followed by Joshua Lim and Marshall Loke. Got Mason Barth on the mound for Canes Midwest as he pumps that first one in there for a strike.
Yeah, kind of already have their work cut out for them after giving up 2 runs to start off this game, but we'll see what Knights Nation brings here offensively.
Parker's second pitch swinging, loops that one into the outfield, and that will be hauled in by the right fielder for the first out.
It looked like we also got a ball hit in play.
Yeah, it was kind of almost like a bit of a mind trip there for a second.
Yeah, that ball just kind of crossed right through the camera frame as well. So there was an out, and yes, there was an extra ball in the field.
We'll have some more time to spend with JoJo Parker a little bit later in this game, but here is Joshua Lim Dunham High School, Louisiana Lafayette signee. A mere 5'5", 145 pounds, but man, 6'5" in the 60, 94-mile-an-hour exit velo, 69.9 bat speed, outfield velos of 89 mile an hour for the 2021 junior feature gamer. Big things come in small packages, man, and Joshua Lim actually lives that.
Yeah, he shows some impressive stuff, despite the stature. I think you can obviously point to a lot of players at the major league level where it just does not necessarily matter how tall you are, how big you are. If you can play with the big boys, it doesn't matter.
The name that I always go back to, I mean, I obviously covered the Braves for a long time, spent a lot of time with Ozzie Albies. And Ozzie had a handshake that would literally break your hand. The first time I ever met him was when he was in camp, when they brought him and Dansby Swanson in. Just as in spring training invitees. They obviously didn't make it the whole way through camp. Yep. But the first time I met Ozzie and he shook my hand, I was like, man, that is a ridiculous grip. And he's only gotten stronger, and the forearms only gotten bigger over the years. But very much like Joshua Lim, who goes down on strikes, he's a guy that packs a lot of power for that size.
Yeah, good pitch right there by Mason Barth. Just kind of pulled the string on it, and bottom fell out and got him swinging right there.
Yeah, certainly a lot to like in the game of Mason Barth. Already seen him at the plate. Now we're seeing what he can do on the mound out of Andrean High School, Notre Dame signee. He's a second-ranked shortstop in Indiana as that one goes foul. 13th overall, number 77 at the shortstop position nationally, but he matches exit velos of 104.7 with a fastball that's up to 92.3 along with a changeup at 83, 85, a curveball at 75, 77, and a slider that sits 68 to 72.
He's making some quick work of Knights Nation right now. Right now facing Marshall Loke.
It's Loke.
Loke? Okay.
Yeah, Marshall Loke is Marshall Loke, an LSU signee who is going to Baton Rouge, at least at this point. We'll see what happens at the MLB draft with the intent of being a two-way player for the Tigers. This is a guy who, we talk about just like with Mason Barth. I mean, you got exit velos near 95 miles an hour and a fastball that sits 92. Listening to his high school coach, I think a lot of people initially thought he was going to go to Baton Rouge as a pitcher, but what he can do at the plate obviously has them thinking down there in Tiger Country that he could be what they've had a lot of success with over the years, which is guys who can do things multiple ways for you.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to just discover what you're best at anyways. If you give a guy the chance to show up and pitch or show up and hit, and he maybe just emerges as a pitcher or as a hitter, all the better for the program.
Yeah, Loke was a 22 feature gamer of Louisiana out of Lusher High School. Second-ranked shortstop in Louisiana, 4th overall. A guy that, when Shooter Hunt and I were looking back at this tournament, this was Marshall was among the players that Shooter had hit his sights on. Certainly a lot to like it, a guy who's 6'3", 185 pounds.
Yeah, it definitely has the projectable frame you're looking for.
Interesting setup, though, when you look at the front leg is straight and the back leg is bent like that. You don't see that setup too often.
Yeah, it definitely caught my eye the first time he stepped in the box. It's like you said, it's not really something you see much. I don't know what the advantages are of it necessarily, but I'd be interested to know.
I'd like to talk, does he put all of his weight on the front foot?
It looks like it's more of a weight transfer thing. We haven't really seen him put a full swing into something, but I would assume he stays bent on the back knee and then kind of weight transfer forward onto the front foot. It's an interesting setup for sure. See what Barth has to offer here.
Swings through that. Not much of a stride, although it was a defensive swing.
Certainly making this one worth his while up here at the plate.
Yeah.
We'll see how it all concludes. But
a little reminiscent of Noah Franco, who was a guy that we had here who's now at TCU. Noah had no stride at all. It was just all about just weight distribution through the hips. And we'll see what happens is when Loke actually puts a swing into one. But you're not seeing much of a stride there either as he fouls that one down the right side and going out of play. But if a guy can be that, can create that transition and that momentum shift without a stride, then more power to him. And then certainly, if that's Loke's typical stride or lack thereof on a swing, it's got him on his way to LSU, so he knows more about it than I do.
Yeah, exactly. I can't question it.
That's right. This is a long at bat here between the Notre Dame signee and the LSU signee, and Barth and Loke. draws himself a 9-pitch walk. So we have seen some long ABs on both sides of the ball here. Is going to make his way down to first base. I apologize, it's a 10-pitch AB. Yeah, 10-pitch AB. 10-pitch at bat, and now we're going to get to see Jacob Parker. And, man, I've already seen the guy on the mound, but you want to talk about power. This is a guy at 104.6 exit velos. Competed in the MLB All-Star Games, Home Run Derby during this past summer's festivities at Globe Life Field. Went into the final round against Josiah Hartshorn, needing to get 4 home runs to win, five to tie him. Ends up ending a buzzer beater to tie Hartshorn and get himself a tie in that home run derby. So this is a guy that brings a ton of juice at the plate.
Yeah, and he's just got a really pretty swing. If you're an observer of baseball, you can always appreciate a good left-handed swing, and he's definitely got one on him.
He's interesting because he bats left, throws right, and his brother bats right and throws left.
That's it. Maybe his parents just wanted to kind of cover all the boxes.
I guess, but then you had to buy 2 gloves, right?
That's
Otherwise,
true.
you could have had them. Could have had one glove, and they could have shared the glove, or they could have, just.
I guess now they've grown up to one's in the infield, one's in the outfield. So
that's true.
You needed 2 different gloves anyways.
Yep. Parker with the dribbler, shortstop gathers, throws, slips it. Oh, no, he's not going to be able to come up with the ball. I think he had a read on it, but unable to make the play, and Knights Nation are now going to have them at first and second.
Yeah, I think that was just a tough play to make. You're obviously seemed like he kind of bobbled it on his way up, and then you kind of lose everything from there. Lucky he didn't make anything worse. So
with 1 out, we'll have him at first and second for Cole Perkins. Nickel State signee, as we get a courtesy runner for Parker. Perkins out of Oak Forest Academy in Louisiana, 5'11", 180-pounder.
Yeah, I must say I've never seen the first name Cole, K-A-U-L.
I would assume it's Cole. Here fourth in the broadcast, it's Cole Perkins.
All right. We're sorry if that's wrong.
Well, it's what the comment sections are for.
Yeah, please let us know.
The miss on that fastball, and the count is now going to be 1-1 to Perkins. Runners at first and second with 1 down. 2-0 is the lead for Canes Midwest. Here in the bottom of the first, and been already an action-packed game as Perkins sends that foul.
Yeah, Knights Nation, though they haven't gotten on the board just yet, they're kind of putting together some pretty solid at-bats here on the offensive side.
After Perkins is Cole Dean. So you got Cole Perkins and Cole Dean spelled 2 very different ways.
Yes, definitely. We'll see if Perkins can keep this inning alive.
Barth delivers. Oh, misses. I think Barth thought he had that one.
That was a close one for sure.
Count is now 2-2. Again, got him at first and second. See how Barth follows up the would-be strikeout. Gets it for real this time on the swing and the miss. It's going to be 2 down.
That's all.
Excuse me, that's going to be all 3 of them. This is so much I didn't even want it to end. All right, we're through 1. 2-0 is the lead for Canes Midwest. We'll be back with our game rewind.
Where's it written? Only grill burgers? Nowhere. That's where. Now throw on some sausage. And keep it juicy.
Boogie, woogie, jam, slam, bust the dialect. I'm the man in command. Come, flow with the sounds of the mighty Mike.
On to the second inning in our game rewind for the National Program Invitational 17U championship game. You're going to see Drew Graft, the bottom of the order there for Canes Midwest, stepping into the box. Be followed by Brandon Logan and Mason Barth. 2-0 lead for Canes over Knights Nation Scout, who return Jacob Parker on the mound, coming in a relief effort. Mississippi State signee pumps that first one in there for a strike at 88 miles an hour.
Yeah, Canes Midwest had to really fight there on the defensive side, but you come into this inning, you almost batted through the lineup the first time around. So last guy on the order here, Drew Graft.
Well, the Taylor University signee grounds out to first on the second pitch. Get more on the Norwell High School product as this game rolls along. And now here's the top of the order again, and Brandon Logan. Notre Dame signee steps in with one down. Got himself a triple in his first AB. Probably would have been a stand-up triple, but he wanted to test out the sliding here at LakePoint Sports.
That is one thing you always gotta know how to slide on turf and on dirt. It's very different. We see him step in the box in slow-mo this time.
Yeah, we got to set the night to music here as we got do that. We got to have some. Always love these slow-mo effects. We're just reveling in the motions and the mechanics here. If Parker is,
there we go.
We're gonna do the slow over top of his head as he rolls to the short. And the quickness is back, and he's gonna be standing at first base. And we talked about how fast Brandon Logan is, and we had to slow it down just so we could revel in the speed, because in an instant he was standing down at first base as we nearly had a miraculous play to get that out, but instead going to have him at first base with one down, and now we go to Mason Barth.
Yeah, that might be as nervous as you could be defensively as a pitcher. When that ball bounces up high in the air and you've got to jump up and try and make a play on it, you've got to be scared, and then it goes over your head, and you kind of – there's a little bit of a moment of like, okay, good, it didn't go to me, and then you realize, oh, wait, the rest of my team has to back me up here.
Well, thankfully for Jacob Parker and his dad sitting back there in the blue shirt, he did not try to barehand that ball as Colin Haney did in the first inning.
Yeah.
Which was one, I don't think I've ever seen anybody try to just barehand the ball on a chopper over top of their head. But
you see it every now and then. And I think the problem is that you've seen it done before. Just about everybody's seen some MLB player at some point or another just like stick out a bare hand and stop a ball. And it makes people think, oh, I can do that. It's not worth it.
Just because you could, as I often say as a father, does not mean that you should.
Exactly.
Well, Barth, who we've now seen on the mound for Canes Midwest at the plate, primarily a shortstop where he has his state ranking of number 2, 13th overall in the Hoosier State. Sure, him and Brandon Logan have been exchanging some text messages during this college football playoff run for the Irish. You got to think Logan's probably got to be figuring out how he's going to fit into that defense. I mean, they look pretty good.
Pretty star-studded. He might have to wait his turn.
Well, I'm sure he'll find his way into special teams or
Yeah.
maybe a return role for a guy that can move as quickly as Logan can. College coaches will find a way to use a guy that can move that fast.
Certainly.
In for a strike. So that was making it 3-1. So we saw Logan reach on the infield single with one down. Taking off for second base. Got him, got Brandon Logan, and despite the speed, unable to get himself a stolen base on 2 down. Great job behind the plate.
Yeah, Andrew Klopinski behind the plate. A fantastic throw down right where he needed to. Perfectly timed to get out Brandon Logan.
We got Klopinski with a 76 catcher velo, pop time of 197. Barth ropes that one down into center field, and if he's taking second base, who knows with that speed whether or not they could have made something interesting at the plate, but nonetheless there's going to be 2 down and a runner at first in the form of Barth, and now going to get a second look at Taylor Belza.
Yeah, one thing that Belza offers that you always like to see in a catching prospect is hitting from the left side. You don't find a lot of left-handed catchers naturally, but when you can find a catcher that not only stellar behind the plate, but also adds to your lineup as a left-handed bat, it's extremely valuable.
He conceivably will be doing so for Auburn next year, but we'll see how things shape out in the draft for the P27 catchers. That's in for a strike. baseball is such a oddity when you think about that. Every other sport, you're, of course, going to go to college before you make that transition, but you never know. I mean, it's got to make it so tough for these college coaches when you sign these classes to kind of have your fingers crossed whether these guys are ever even going to make it onto your campus.
Yeah, I think it's really tough when you're trying to kind of look ahead to what college baseball is going to look like for a season, and then, one season's coming to an end, and all of a sudden you're looking ahead to next year, and all of your players decide to go to the draft.
Yeah.
There's some teams, you might have the top recruiting class heading into the draft, and by the time, a week after the draft, and you've heard that your top 5 guys in your recruiting class have all signed.
Well, Belza goes down on strike as Jacob Parker leaves a runner stranded. We still got a 2-0 lead for Canes Midwest. We'll be back with our baseball game rewind.
Next. Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one.
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete in all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super, 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 super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
2-0 continues to be the lead for Canes Midwest in this game rewind from the National Program Invitational. Mason Barth back on the mound for Canes, and he'll be facing Cole Dean, Trey Bryant, and Andrew Klopinski. We move along here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, Knights Nation last time out at the plate didn't look too bad. They just weren't able to capitalize on a couple of opportunities, but set themselves up good. I wouldn't certainly be coming into this one hanging your heads, but you still got to keep in mind you're down 2-0, and you'd like to strike back early here.
Cole Dean out of Bayside Academy in Alabama rips that one down the right side, and that's going to be down fair as it gets out the outstretched glove of the first baseman. Cole Dean making his way into second base with a bit of a windmill to keep himself upright as he falls down on top of the bag. I think he nearly fell down halfway between first and second, but that little windmill move, I think, actually kept him upright. Standing at second with a leadoff double.
It looked like he got a little bit tripped up rounding first base when he looked up, because it looked like he was looking for the ball.
Yeah.
And then he was committing to second base. He rounds first, and he saw the umpire in his baseline.
Yeah.
And the umpire was still, he was probably going to be out of his way, but it looked like he slowed down a little bit just, for the safety of both him and the umpire, but still makes it into second base, but not without a little bit of drama.
Well, I think it kind of messed up his gait because you see him kind of like working that right leg, but the South Alabama signee is standing at second base, and Knights Nation are in business as that first offering to Trey Bryant misses inside.
Well, we've seen what an extra base hit to lead off the inning can do for a team, and see if Knights Nation can get a taste of what that's like.
Trey Bryant, an Arizona State signee out of Jackson Prep in Mississippi, watches that one for a ball. High school teammates with Connor Griffin, the number 9 pick in last year's MLB draft and the Gatorade National Player of the Year. Talked to Connor a couple times, and we had him here at LakePoint Sports playing for Knights Nation in the past. So Jackson Prep, an absolute force. And Trey Bryant, maybe next in line to be the next big guy out of that program, is 6'1", 205 pounds. He's the number 1 ranked third baseman in Mississippi.
Yeah, and we've got, once again, another team that's representing the college football playoff. Obviously, they've been eliminated now, but Notre Dame, Arizona State, just missing a couple.
I wonder if Trey Bryant has a Scattaboo jersey at home.
There might be a lot more of those, if I had to guess.
I tweeted this out after that playoff game against Texas. Whoever gets him in the draft, as we see him making his way down to first base, whoever gets Scattaboo in the draft is going to sell a ton of jerseys coming out of that playoff game.
Oh yeah, I think even if he just has an average NFL career, he's going to be kind of just a hero of college football. And it's kind of a shame that he wasn't necessarily a highly appreciated player throughout his time at Arizona State, because he's been doing this.
As a longtime Heisman voter, and I've been one since about 2000, the Sam Bradford year, so you're looking back at 2008. If they were and the Heisman Trust has been clear, and I've talked to the trustee president about this multiple times, they have no intentions of moving the voting period. They want it to be, they don't want bowl games, championship games taken into account. But if they could do that, I just feel like they would allow guys like Scattaboo, to a national perspective, could be seen in a completely different light. And who knows how high we're talking about a guy like that, as he is going to get hit by a pitch on 2 pitches. So Kopinski makes his way down. All of a sudden, the bases are loaded for Nice Nation.
Yeah, this is a fantastic opportunity right now. They're kind of capitalizing on just, not perfect pitching right now from Mason Barth, and then they're going to get the courtesy runner for Kopinski at first. But Nice Nation setting themselves up for something big here.
So bases are now loaded for Louisiana Lafayette signee Noah Lewis, 6'2", 185-pounder, 60 time of 6.35 for the 2023 future gamer. Except in there looking like a sprinter at 6'2", 185 pounds.
It's going to be hard to find a 60 time better than 6.35. You don't see anybody getting under 6'4 pretty often, but Noah Lewis certainly puts one on display.
Exit velo's at 94, bat speed is 71.7, along with that ridiculous 60 time. He's the 3rd-ranked outfielder in Louisiana, 7th overall in the class, and he's got an opportunity with his team down 2-0 to get Knights Nation right back into this game.
And with his kind of build, you could imagine he'd make a good wide receiver.
Yeah.
Speaking of college football.
It's in for a strike. We'll see if Louisiana Lafayette can get their hands on Noah Lewis.
Now, bases loaded for Knights Nation. If you're Noah Lewis stepping up to the plate, how are you feeling right now? You know you need some runs, but it's still early in this game.
I think you just want to put a ball in play. Just make something happen. Just try to put a little bit more pressure on Barth. These are really the first time we've seen stress pitches out of him, as we said here in the 2nd inning. He cruised through the first, despite the fact that, ran into a little bit of trouble. He was able to get out of that jam. So now you've got him in a situation where, you can make them pay. You've got to have something. You've got the right guy up in the right moment here. If you're Noah Lewis, thinking that, try to capitalize and get your team on the board.
We'll see how this goes for him, but Barth just kind of hoping he can reel himself back in here and try and get out of this inning.
Swing and a miss, and a frustrated Noah Lewis is making his way back down to the dugout as he goes down on strikes.
Yeah, that's one of those where maybe he goes into that position kind of mind made up. He wants to put this ball in play, like you said, and just kind of loses sight of that one and ends up swinging to something a little too high.
Well, now it's on Dane Ray, the Louisiana Monroe signee out of Tupelo High School, Mississippi, 6', 175-pounder. Watches that in for a ball. It's the 5th-ranked shortstop in Mississippi, 26th overall, 23 future gamer. Not too shabby 60 time of his own at 6'8'3". Almost look at the location of the first pitch, but that's in for a strike to make it 1-1.
A little bit interesting there. I think maybe that first pitch just backed Dane Ray up off the plate a little bit and opened the door for Mason Barth to find that spot.
Fouls this one off, so the count is now quickly going to be 1-2.
Seems like Barth is more than willing to take his time up there on the mound, not feeling any of the pressure at the moment, trying to keep himself calm.
Goes breaking ball, but misses at 75, and the count is now going to be 2-2.
Yeah, not a bad pitch whatsoever if you're looking to get swing and miss right there. You've already got the 2 strikes on him. You can play around a little bit, but got to keep in mind the situation you're in here.
Barth takes a breath, gathers, throws, goes fastball, and that one is fouled off. That one was at 86.
It's been a good at-bat to this point for Dane Ray. First pitch, let it come by. It was close. It was a little bit inside, and then you get the strike looking on a similar pitch, maybe a borderline call there, and then just kind of fought his way through this one and kept himself going.
Well, the 6th pitch of this AB upcoming, 20th of the inning for Barth. Ray puts this in play. Shortstop gathers. He can't make the throw as it bobbles out of his hands, and Knights Nation are on the board off that error.
Yeah, kind of a costly error right there for Zahir Bartram there at shortstop, but I guess you can kind of live with just giving up one there. Even if you get the force play at first, you're still not in a great spot, so good work there by Bartram.
Well, unfortunately for Canes Midwest, that now results in the bases still loaded, and now you got to deal with JoJo Parker, the Mississippi State signee, at the plate.
Yeah, just 1 out as well, so even just something well hit to the outfield, you're scoring another run.
Now got a 2-1 game. Barth misses on the breaking ball to Parker. We've now really hit winter in Georgia, and seeing all these people in shorts and T-shirts are just kind of making me envious for us to get back to the summer months, as we're now going to go out and have a conversation with Barth.
Yeah, just today as we're recording this, the high was like 52, and I think we hit that at about 2 a.m., and it only got colder after that.
Yeah, we got the potential of some bad stuff coming later this week here in Metro Atlanta, so we'll see. Oftentimes it doesn't happen, but when it does,
everybody I've talked to about this is like so excited, and I'm like, I've played this game.
Yeah.
Now almost 22 years I've played this game of hoping it's going to snow, and it doesn't. So I'm not getting my hopes up. I'll keep looking at it. Once I see a higher percentage as the week goes on, maybe I'll start believing it, but I can't buy in yet. I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah, waiting for snow in Metro Atlanta is like waiting in the pumpkin patch for the great pumpkin to show up. It's, chances are pretty slim.
You have a better chance of driving through Midtown, no traffic.
There you go. Yeah, that's very true.
But if it does snow, you're not making it through Midtown at all.
No.
Not going to happen. Nobody knows what they're doing once it does start snowing.
Barth delivers. Parker has this one on the ground. Second baseman takes a step back, has it, throws it to first in time for the sacrifice ground out, so another run scores, and we've got a tie ball game at 2-2.
Not sure what happened over there at third base, but our base runner went rolling past third base, but safely gets back, and good work by Parker to just do a job and score a run.
So now Joshua Lim's got a chance to get Knights Nation in front here in the second inning. Been an action-packed first couple innings for us. Lim is first pitch swinging, 85 mile an hour on that fastball. So Knights Nation couldn't capitalize in their first AB, but they most certainly have here in the second to notch things at 2-2. Breaking ball in for a strike at 74. Barth is going to attack mode here against Lim after giving up a couple runs. Taylor Belza adjusting his gear.
Little equipment delay behind the plate.
All right, Belza's good to go, and the AB will continue. 2 down, 2 on. 2-2 is our score. Comes the 26th pitch of this inning for Mason Barth.
I think we've kind of seen a bit of a trend here.
Has it himself, flips to first, and that will bring an end to the inning, and we are tied up at 2-2, and we'll get into that trend from Grayson as we continue. You're watching the National Program Invitational.
Where's it written? Only grill burgers? Nowhere. That's where. Now throw on some sausage and keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect. I'm the man in command. Come flow with the sounds of the mighty mic.
On to inning number 3 in this game rewind from the National Program Invitational. This is the championship game of the 17U division between Canes Midwest and Knights Nation Scout. We are all tied up at 2-2. Jacob Parker continues on the mound in this relief effort for Knights Nation, and he'll be facing Zahir Barjan, Will Coleman, and Landon Fry for Canes Midwest. Canes trying to respond here after watching a 2-0 lead dwindle away, as we're now all tied up. The second pitch, Barjan puts that in play. And it's going to be hauled in for an out. You didn't see it, but I'm telling you it was an out.
We can promise he was out.
So Barjan on the ground out. Now we're going to see Will Coleman for the second time.
Good work up to this point from Jacob Parker on the mound. Coming in a really, really tough spot. Bases loaded, no outs. They'd already given up 2 runs. And just has done his job to this point. So big shout out to Jacob Parker for his work to this point.
We've already talked 2024 senior future games, and Will Coleman at the plate was part of those festivities. Now a Kentucky signee at a Castle High School in Indiana, 6'1", 175-pounder.
Showing off some of his versatility today.
Yeah, playing first base, but he is primarily a left-handed pitcher with outfield as his secondary spot. He's the 3rd-ranked left-handed pitcher in Indiana, 11th overall, 32nd at that position nationally, but having to man first base here for Canes Midwest in this game.
Yeah, kind of everything that anybody's ever told a left-handed player to do on the baseball field.
As a left-handed player,
yeah,
I can
left-handed pitcher,
agree.
First base, outfield, that's kind of what you're limited to.
Yep. Well, the 6'1", 175-pounder fouls that off.
So there's some kind of disagreement here on something. Whatever it is Coleman wasn't happy with, but he steps back in.
He'll walk down to first base, and we'll now see Landon Fry. Coleman wasn't excited about something. He was very slowly making his way down to first base as he continued to talk. And that is a true walk.
Oh, yeah. The absolute opposite of Brandon Nimmo.
Yeah.
No hard 90 there for Will Coleman.
Landon Fry, the Indiana signee, now at the plate. Parker just misses on the breaking ball.
You've seen that spot up and in is really tough to grab against both of these teams.
Another miss. Count is now 2-0. So after a leadoff walk to Will Coleman, Parker finding himself in trouble here against Fry. Now 1 pitch away from back-to-back walks to start off the 3rd.
Kind of staying all in that one zone. Usually he's trying to back him up off the plate, but at this point you just kind of got to get into emergency situations.
That's in for a strike, and as we talked about, our Madden/NCAA football effects here. We got the pressure building here as the camera's shaking. I bet that's what Parker's feeling like at the moment here.
Yeah, the stadium pulse is up.
That's right, it is. Counts now 3-1. A miss inside. Jacob Parker walks him. So back-to-back walks of Canes Midwest with 2 on, and Coleman is like literally like walking down to second base, and
he's just following the instructions. You told him to walk, he's walking.
Yeah, something irritated him in that AB.
Seems like he's still talking about it.
Yeah, Blue going over to have a word with him. Hopefully just having some fun with the guy, who's now standing at second base.
I would like to note, I absolutely love the emphatic walk bat flip, which Will Coleman certainly put on display there. My favorite example of it from this season, and I actually saw him talk about it a little bit, was Gunnar Henderson. And he talked about it, he said, well, it's because I don't want to get walked. I go up there to hit. I don't want to be walked. So he would just kind of like chuck his bat back to the dugout. And, yeah, I like to see that kind of emotion because, you know, when you boil it down, walking is maybe the most boring part of baseball, but brings a little bit of life to it.
I've had a bit of a delay in the proceedings, but we're going to get back at it now, and going to go from Landon Fry to Landon Sarkey. Runners at first and second. First pitch missing. Parker's just having a really hard time consistently finding the strike zone in this inning. Looked really good coming in relief. And remember, Colin Haney, the starting pitcher, did not record an out before he had to come into action, and that's a rope right at the shortstop, and tries to make a double up of Coleman. That was the fastest we've seen Will Coleman move.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he can in fact move quickly.
He's just conserving his energy for moments
That's
like
right,
that.
yeah.
Good work right there at shortstop to make the play and then quickly get the ball over to second base, though you didn't get the double play. It was still an impressive play right there.
Sarkey lines out, and now we're going to see Matthew Major.
I think maybe some of Jacob Parker's just control issues here just come from the fact he's not a primary pitcher. It's just not the position he's here for.
Yeah, that was a great move.
It was a great move, but while I sit here and talk about how he's not a pitcher, but
well, had that been his brother,
Yeah.
JoJo, the lefty, they may have gotten him.
Maybe. But I think with that comes, he's into his third inning of work here. It's certainly a tough job, especially because he didn't really get time to warm up either coming into it. So maybe saw his best stuff for those 2 innings, and because he didn't get to warm up, maybe he's just kind of losing it just a little bit here.
So the first pitch, Major sees, he fouls off, and the count's now going to be 1-0. 0-1, excuse me. Runners at first and second. So got him on the check swing, so indeed there will be a 0-2 count.
Majors certainly has a frame that college coaches dream of seeing. That other angle kind of showed the perspective, but long legs, he's a tall player in the box. He's just physically imposing at the plate.
Oh, he just holds off. Man, that looked like it could have been trouble.
Yeah, that was a stone cold take.
By the way,
Good
Matthew
work.
Major was Troy Christian's homecoming king. So.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so we have royalty in our
Yeah.
midst as Matthew Major at the plate here. Puts that in place. Second baseman, can't get to it as it goes through his legs. Runner taken off for home. The throw is not going to make it all the way to the base, and so we will have a 3-2 lead for Canes Midwest as Matthew Major put that in play and made something happen.
Will Coleman. We talked. He showed off the wheels right there.
That's
Heads
right.
up base running by Will Coleman. That's a costly error right there at second base, especially you're following a great play there at shortstop and you want to just get out of this inning, but an error right there and it rolls all the way to the outfield and scores a run from second base.
We are rolling through this Canes Midwest lineup as now Drew Graft is at the plate. He's in for a strike from Parker. Canes Midwest have got themselves back on top now, 3-2.
Graft just trying to keep things alive here, maybe tack on another run, but for now you just want to keep the inning alive with 2 outs.
Miss on that fastball low. Graft, the Taylor University signee, puts that in play. Second baseman has it, flips to the bag in time to end it. A couple will be stranded, but Canes Midwest have themselves back on top 3-2. We'll be back from the Baseball Village.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, you'll always find more fun with great brands at the best prices. More of this, and this. So you can get together for a little of that, and a lot more of that. And even some of that, and that's good. Have more fun with great brands at the best prices. Only at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
It'll be Marshall Loke, Jacob Parker, and Cole Perkins at the plate for Knights Nation Scout as they try to respond as Canes Midwest saw a 2-2 game become a 3-2 advantage for them, and Mason Barth back out on the mound for Canes. He's thrown 52 pitches thus far as we sit here on the bottom of the third. Loke, first pitch swinging, 84-mile-an-hour fastball, swing and a miss to the LSU signee.
And I think Knights Nation kind of found the key to scoring some runs, and I think both teams have really found it here. It's just force the pitcher to throw pitches. Don't go out early in these at-bats and, get first pitch outs, or, you really want to extend these at-bats past 3 pitches to just continue to, kind of break away at your pitchers. And Mason Barth looking great up to this point, but if Knights Nation can maybe crack into him a little bit here, you might see the end of his day.
And really the luxury of these kind of lineups, right? When you've got players of this caliber that can go up there and fight off pitches and kind of work a count, as opposed to guys who are, maybe hunting fastball and just trying to put something in play.
Yeah, like if you look at the bottom of this lineup for Knights Nation, that was
absolute rocket off the bat on Marshall Loken, and a fantastic grab in left field robs him of extra bases.
Play.
Man, what a fantastic job in left field by Landon Sarkey for the first out as Marshall Loke is retired.
Wow, what a catch. But what we're mentioning here for Knights Nation is, even if you look at the bottom of the lineup, you got Noah Lewis, Louisiana Lafayette signee, and Dane Ray, the last in the lineup, Louisiana Monroe signee. So you're not really missing out at any point in this lineup, and it gives you the potential it runs at all times.
Jacob Parker, first pitch swinging, shortstop will easily have that. So as I hear Barzum makes the second out. Now really quick inning here so far for Mason Barth as there's now 2 down.
Yeah, it seemed like he just kind of, that pitch just didn't necessarily go where Parker thought it was going, and didn't quite get the swing on it he liked.
Cole Perkins will try to keep this inning alive for Knights Nation. Again, they fell behind 3-2 this last inning. Try to find a response as he watches that first offering from Barth miss at 82. Fouls that off. Count now 1-1. If Perkins can get on, it's going to be Cole Dean, who had himself a double in his last at bat. Another foul off the bat of Perkins.
I think Knights Nation, you kind of need to extend this at bat and hopefully extend this inning, because you're giving Mason Barth some confidence. He's already deep into this game. You kind of want to start taking that away from him as much as possible.
Barth delivers. Perkins ropes that one over the top of the shortstop's head. That one is in its way to left center, and he will hold at first base with a 2-out single.
Yeah, good work right there by Perkins. Kind of short-handed swing on it, but put it out in no man's land and finds himself on first base, extending this inning.
Cole Dean, who nearly had himself some dramatics on his way from first to second in his last AB on route to a double, has a chance to do something else here for Knights Nation and try to get this game evened up. As we said here, with a 3-2 edge for Canes Midwest, he's got 1 on and 2 down.
I think Cole Dean just hit like every single thing that somebody does before they step into the batter's box. Adjusted the batting gloves, adjusted the helmet, steps in, adjusts the pants legs, and then does kind of like the flip over with the bat. Kind of hit all of the mainstream moves.
Well, Nomar Garcia-Parra was a little bit ahead of your time, but he was a guy that used to have about 50 to 60 different machinations that he'd go through on the adjustments to his batting glove between pitches. He would have hated the pitch clock era more so than Juan Soto, a guy that really had a lot going on every time he stepped into the box.
Yeah, whenever I think of that, I just instantly think to Marcelo Zuna and his kind of timing mechanics that he does.
His chicken wing dance.
the weird arm movements and everything. Certainly something that is synonymous with Marcelo Zuna at the plate.
That miss on the breaking ball at 70 mile an hour going to even out the count here to Dino, 1-1. And he's got a runner at first, 2 down. Canes Midwest up 3-2. Colin Barth's next pitch will be the 64th of this outing for the Notre Dame signee. Goes fastball right down the middle at 84. Dean probably wants that one back. He's shaking his head, and he knew he should have swung at that pitch.
It was a great pitch right there by Barth. Kind of put it out, leaked out a little bit over to the outside of the plate, and gets himself a much-needed strike right there.
Comes the 1-2. Skies this one. Who's got it? Shortstop Zahir Barzum does, and that's going to end the inning. So Knights Nation strand 1 On our way to the 4th inning in this game rewind from the National Program Invitational.
So yeah, outrage is trending. Our feet stirring us up, splitting us up. What if we came out from behind our walls and keyboards just for a sec and just go yard, front yard? Come out bagging, jumping, check on that Johnsonville feed. Let our individual flavors blend together. Yes, block nobody, block party. Keep it juicy.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
We go from one Parker on the mound for Knights Nation to another as JoJo Parker takes over for his brother Jacob. As Canes Midwest lead 3-2 here in the 4th inning of the 17U championship game from the National Program Invitational. Brandon Logan, the Notre Dame signee, back on the mound, back in the plate, for the 3rd time for Canes Midwest. Looked this up during our break. Runs a 4.4440, which is absolutely ridiculous, and he's listed at a 6.34 in the 60. So I would honestly think him and Noah Lewis at the end of this game are just going to have a race to decide who's going to be 17U champs in the NPI.
That would be extremely funny. If there was a tie ball game, I'd maybe prefer that over extra innings.
Logan puts that in play. He's going to make his way to first base with a leadoff single.
Good work right there by Brandon Logan. Getting things started here for Canes Midwest.
So Logan on the 3rd pitch sends that into right field for a base hit. Now we're going to see Mason Barth. Barth more than holding his own on the mound for Canes Midwest. Looked awfully strong. He's 65 pitches into this outing so far.
Yeah, I think Canes Midwest can be pretty happy with how they've looked offensively, but you still need some more runs. You've only got a 1-run lead here, and we just know that's not safe against the lineup of this caliber.
So Barth, first pitch swinging on that 84-mile-an-hour fastball. Throw back over to the bag to try to keep Logan at bay. Miss high from Barth. Count now going to be 1-1. Saw Ian Smith make his way up the steps there on the scout tower. Another throw over from Parker to first. They do not want Brandon Logan budging from that bag.
Yeah, it seems like JoJo Parker got the scouting report on Brandon Logan. He knows what he's capable of over there.
Getting himself a healthy lead.
Yeah, Logan definitely not worried about the pickoff potential.
Well, we've seen Klopinski's arm behind the plate. We know what he's capable of doing, so I would love to see it.
Logan.
He did it against Logan. He's in that second position. He's ready to make that throw.
Mason Barth getting out of the way of that one. You fully turn out of the way of that one, and you start thinking, man, I shouldn't have gotten out of the way. There's another try back at Brandon Logan at first base.
So the 3rd time that he's thrown over.
JoJo Parker does not want him stealing on him.
Ropes that one foul.
So long at bat here for Barth. Trying to help himself out as the starting pitcher in this game for Canes Midwest.
Parker delivers. Fouls that one off. Making Parker work as he comes in relief of his brother, who was the pitcher of inheriting a jam in the 1st inning with the bases loaded as Colin Haney exited without recording an out.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate that Jacob even gave up a run after that error in the last inning. Great pitch.
Oh, yeah. Barth thought he was making his way down to first with a walk, but instead he gets the victim of a strikeout as Parker gets him on that K.
But, yeah, JoJo's brother, twin brother, Jacob, just unfortunate to have inherited that one run, or not inherited, but give up that one run in that last outing. Just an unfortunate error at second base that scored a run, but he looked great and had a lot he could take away from it. And now his brother off to not too bad of a start. Keeping Brandon Logan at bay at first base for sure.
Yeah, he's intent on Brandon Logan not moving from that bag, but Taylor Belza will try to change that. Dances his way out of the first pitch. Zahim Barja, his P27 teammate in the on-deck circle. 3-2 is the lead for Canes Midwest here in the fourth. Man, he absolutely ropes that one down the right side.
You don't get a camera flip, but it is caught in the outfield for the out.
Yeah, that was a bullet off the bat of Taylor Belza. So now going to be 2 down for Zahim Barja.
Yep, big difference. We go from Mason Barth working a 7-pitch at bat, and then Belza lining out to the outfield on the second pitch.
Barzum, the West Virginia signee, watches that first offering for a strike. Sends that fastball foul, so count's now going to be 0-2.
And I think with Barzum, I'm kind of interested in this, and I don't know if you have any insight on it, but as a guy who was uncommitted, goes to senior future games, has a great showing, and then finds himself at such a high-level program like West Virginia, do you think that he just had a lot of offers already going into senior future games, didn't want to take any just yet because he wanted to really put himself out there and then got to capitalize on that opportunity? Or was it just, maybe he hadn't really gotten a lot of attention, maybe he hadn't, we hadn't seen him too many times, and then he just kind of shows up there and caught the eye of somebody?
Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting too, right? And I think a lot of times you see a guy who maybe isn't getting the level of attention that he thinks he should get, and then an opportunity like senior feature games that I think is just going to continue to evolve because, we had nearly 450 college coaches here during the event as Bartram's going to get hit on the left arm, will make his way down to the first base. Just the mere opportunities that these guys get to get in front of so many college coaches because, primarily the coaches are coming to the feature games because they want to see those guys who are finally going to be able to be approached during the recruiting process come August 1st as, incoming juniors. But the fact now that you can look at a guy going into his senior year, maybe you didn't see before, maybe you didn't get the right read on before, he's gotten bigger, he's gotten stronger, and now all of a sudden you see him in a different light. I think you're going to see a lot more Zahim Barjas going down the line here as we continue with the senior feature games.
Yeah, and then his teammate Will Coleman, same story.
Yep.
He committed to Kentucky afterwards, and then you look around, you had some Tennessee commits as well.
Yep.
So we're talking about the top programs in the nation recruiting out of the senior future games.
Yeah, and I think when they initially broached senior feature games, and I thought what you were going to see a lot more of was going to be JUCOs and D2s and D3s.
And I think there was a fair share of that as well. But it certainly caught us by surprise a little bit to see that level of program watching those games.
Because, there were a lot of them. And, we're talking about just 2 in back-to-back hitters in this Canes Midwest squad, but there were a lot of players who ended up getting the attention of Power 4 programs. I'm never going to get used to saying Power 4, but
it does feel weird.
Of Power
Division
4
1
programs, yeah.
Teams that are not afraid to make the super regionals or regionals, even the College World Series.
That's right.
So what Will Coleman has here. He scored, made his way around the last time, but made it via the walk. We'll see what he has this time.
Miss high. Runners at first and second, and Canes Midwest have a 3-2 lead. Weak contact. Shortstop has it. Gathers, throws in time for the out. So they will strand 2, but Canes Midwest still have that 3-2 lead. We'll be back from the NPI. It's the bottom of the 4th in the 17U championship game from the National Program Invitational. Cory, McCartney, Grayson, Rosen with you, and we've got Mason Barth back out for his 4th inning of work, and he'll have Trey Bryant, Andrew Klopinski, and Noah Lewis for Knights Nation, who trail 3-2. First offering from Bryant goes foul.
We've seen Barth put in some great work. That pitch right there is 66th of the day. You've given up 2 runs to this point. You can't be too mad about them. It was just kind of a series of unfortunate events a little bit for Mason Barth, but he's continued to look really good on the mound. And
as he sails one over top of the catcher.
It's anytime we start complimenting a guy,
right,
the wheels fall off, or if we decide to critique him, he strikes somebody out. It's just how it goes. But Mason Barth looks really good up to this point, despite that pitch.
Yeah, he's thrown 67 pitches thus far. One bounces away from Belza. Bryant, the Arizona State signee, at the plate. He's got a 1-1 count. Just misses. Belza tries to squeeze that back in and frame a strike, but does not work. Counts now 2-1.
Yeah, I think Trey Bryant almost sold it a little bit by just not hesitating at all and just watching that one go by.
Bryant pops this one up. Coleman backs off as the second baseman hauls that in for the first out.
Yeah, good work right there by second base to call off your first baseman. That's always a tough spot to find yourself in as the first baseman, and you're sizing it up, waiting and waiting and waiting for that second baseman to call you off. So good work right there by the infield.
Landon Fry makes the catch, and here's Andrew Lipinski at a Baton Rouge Catholic, LSU Eunice signee. Third-ranked catcher in Louisiana. He's 22nd overall in the class at 6 foot, 180 pounds. We've already seen that pop time in catcher velo as he got Brandon Logan at second base on the would-be steal. But at the plate, exit velo is a 94.2 and bat speed is 72.1. Barth gets him to pop out. Potentially, we'll see. Second baseman Fry has it, and there will be 2 down, both going to Fry's glove.
Why not make it 3?
Let's
see what happens. We've seen it before here.
Yeah, we're getting a quick inning here so far for Mason Barth. He's now 74 pitches in off this next one as he's facing Noah Lewis.
Yeah, I feel like as you get later in your day like this, if you're Mason Barth, you certainly wouldn't mind some quick work here. Thanks to the umpire for the stop right there.
So that fastball goes into the dirt, 78 miles an hour, and it's 1-0 start here to Lewis. Ooh, just misses him. Making for an uneasy AB here for Noah Lewis. So 2 down, a 2-0 count. Lewis shows bunt, pulls back, that's him for a strike. Would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah.
6-3 on the 60 to see him trucking down the line to see if he could have beaten that out. 3-2 lead for Canes Midwest. Gets away from him, counts out 2-1.
And it's interesting when, earlier in the broadcast we were talking about Marshall Locke and his, in his stance at the plate. Noah Lewis really lifts that foot up off the ground, but you see he got a lot of that weight on the back leg and then fully lifts that front foot off the ground in his load up. So it was interesting to see, how different guys can approach at the plate, and they all kind of look for the same outcomes.
Oh, ropes that one over top of the second base bag and will have himself a single here with 2 down.
That's a good piece of hitting right there by Noah Lewis. Just sending one straight up the middle.
Rope that 82 mile an hour fastball up the middle, and now have a base runner with 2 down. And here's Dane Ray.
We've certainly seen now into his 4th inning of work that Mason Barth's kind of let the velo go a little bit, but the control is still there. So we'll see what he can do here, trying to get out of this inning.
Dane Ray, the Louisiana Monroe signee, looking to try to notch this thing up. It's a 3-2 lead for Canes Midwest. As that one's down the right side, it just goes foul. Calling it foul. Thought he was going to have himself a double, but nope, said that indeed did go right side of the line, and Ray's going to have to make his way back. Thought he had himself an RBI double.
I don't know if everybody's on the same page here yet. Okay. Yes, Noah Lewis has returned to first base. Seems like he didn't realize what the call was, but a foul ball called by him.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was that close to the line from here, but apparently it was close enough that Dane Ray thought he had to make his way to second base. Thought in his head that he had a ground rule double.
Now he gets another try.
Miss high from Barth's going to run the count even at 1-1. Again, Ray, a Louisiana Monroe signee, trying to even this thing up. We have a 3-2 lead for Canes Midwest here in the 4th inning.
I think after that first one and you kind of get it taken away from you, it could maybe check you out here, or you capitalize on it.
Runner takes off, and Ray puts this one into play, and that's headed over top of the right fielder's head, and that is backtracking gone. Dane Ray has himself a home run down the right side, and all of a sudden, Knights Nation have a 4-3 lead here in the 4th inning.
Oh my goodness! You start off the at-bat, first pitch, you send one out. You thought you had a ground rule double, potentially an RBI out of it, and you watch a ball go by, and you get your second chance, and you send it over the fence. That is unbelievable work right there by Dane Ray.
Yeah, Dane Ray goes from good to better as he gets himself a 2-run shot after the would-be ground rule double is taken off the table. And now Knights Nation had themselves a advantage here in the 4th inning of the 17U championship in NPI.
Yeah, what a way to get your first lead of the game here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Doing that damage with 2 outs. And now Jacob Parker at the plate.
That is outstanding by Dane Ray. That just an insane redemption there to go from.
I apologize. JoJo Parker. We're a little bit later into the, and I'm sure that's not the first time that Jacob and JoJo have had their names interchanged.
Yeah, that's fair. When we just see Jay Parker on the box score, it does make things a little bit difficult.
Things getting away now from Mason Barth, who maybe thought he was going to get himself out of another inning into his 4th of work here for Canes Midwest, as he's seen a 3-2 lead become a 4-3 disadvantage.
Yeah, it seemed like things were really going his way when Noah Lewis comes up to the plate with 2 outs, and you've only thrown 8 pitches in the inning. You feel like you're maybe going to make some quick work of it and get your offense back out there, but instead you gave your offense quite the task when they do find themselves back on the field.
Parker ropes that over top of the bag, and he is going to have himself a single. So now 87 pitches, 22 in this inning for Mason Barth, and now he's got to deal once again with Joshua Lim.
Yeah, I think this is a good spot to come out here and talk to your pitcher for a second. I don't think you should necessarily pull him just yet, but I think you just come out and have a conversation. He's done fantastic work up to this point, and just a couple of moments that have gotten away from him. But we'll see if Mason Barth can work his way out of this, because it has been a strong outing despite the 4 runs he's allowed.
Yeah, certainly not the inning he thought he was going to be having, as he got very quickly a couple outs, but then we saw Lewis with the single, and then we saw the Ray home run, and then JoJo Parker gets himself another single. All this done with 2 outs. I mean, I think maybe that's the worst part for Mason Barth is, you know, you had these guys in a position where you thought you were going to have a very quick inning, and then all of a sudden they get 2 runs off, and you got to deal with the top of the order here, and you've given up a single, and now you got the number 2 hitter at the plate, a guy in Lim that can do some damage.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back on what we were talking about earlier, where Knights Nation's just not worried about what part of the lineup is coming up. We specifically noted Noah Lewis and Dane Ray at the bottom of the lineup as these 2 guys. Yeah, they're at the bottom of the lineup. They're both Division I signees, and they are the 2 that end up doing the damage here, with Noah Lewis getting the single to extend the inning, and then Dane Ray sending one over the fence for the 2-run home run.
The stadium pulse builds again as that one bounces down low for Mason Barth.
Yeah, for the MLB The Show fans out there, the pitch, like the pitching meter. If you're if you use meter, nothing. There's nothing on the pitching meter right now for Mason Barth.
Comes the 1-0 to Lim. Sends that one down the side. First baseman Coleman has it, and he makes a trucking move down to first base to get the runner, and we are through another inning. But Knights Nation now have a 4-3 lead. We'll be back from National Program Invitational.
Next. Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one.
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete and all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf.
Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
It's still JoJo Parker's show on the mound for Knights Nation, and now he is backed with a 4-3 lead here, as we said, in the 5th inning of the championship game of the 17U division, the National Program Invitational. Just saw a ball come on from another field of play. We're going to have Landon Fry at the plate for Canes Midwest this inning, followed by Landon Sarkey and Matthew Major. It's in for a strike to Fry.
And now Canes Midwest, first time in this game that they're playing from behind. This offense just needs to put the work in right now and try and fight back.
Fry, the Indiana signee, tried to get things started for Canes Midwest as they look to fight back and answer, as you mentioned, the first time they've played from behind. Fry puts it in play, third base has it, throws in time for the out.
Good work right there to get that ball across the diamond at third base. That was a great throw. Didn't have to worry about a bounce or anything, just a throw right on the money.
So one down on the fry ground out, and now it's Landon Sarkey's turn. Ball one to Sarkey, Marian University signee, getting out of Hanover Central, Indiana, 5'10", 165-pounder. Oh, puts that into play as that's going into center field, for a base hit. Nice one-out single there from Sarkey, and Canes Midwest down 4-3, had themselves in business here in the fifth.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a trend in this game of just timely hits. Whenever a team needs it, they're finding it, and I think, like we've talked about a number of times, just extremely good lineups that we see across the board from both of these squads that I think really cater to why we're seeing that.
Well, Matthew Major will try to build on that. Tulane signee gets hit on the left arm, and he's going to head down to first base. So a single followed by a hit by pitch, and now Canes Midwest have a runner in scoring position.
And that brings up to the plate a pinch hitter. So Drew Graff will leave the game, and Tanner Thomas fills in, the Louisville commit out of Arcola.
It's a nice move to go to, right? When you can just bring a Louisville commit in off your bench.
Yeah, he's primarily a right-handed pitcher, number 12 right-handed pitcher in Illinois, but 96.3 exit velo and a 6.55 60 is not exactly pitcher numbers.
Tanner Thomas, screaming athlete, as he comes in at 5'11", 175 pounds. Does get a fastball up to 91 with 2,300 spin. So
maybe he is a pitcher.
Yeah. Cardinals got themselves an arm for sure. He's the 12th ranked right-handed pitcher in Illinois, 41st overall. But yeah, the metrics at the plate, I mean, you mentioned 96 exit velo, 75.9 bat speed.
And comes in a huge spot for his team. Runner in scoring position, looking to make something happen.
Sends that foul. Thomas being aggressive off the bench for sure.
I think as a pinch hitter, you can kind of afford to be aggressive when you come up to the plate. It's your first time out there. It's your first time seeing this pitcher. Kind of, put a little bit of work in and warm yourself up here at the plate and then try and catch something.
See the bright blue uniforms of, I believe, Smart Tents in the background there, yeah. Miss high. Count is now going to be 1-2 to Thomas. Got 2 runners on. Nearly hit by pitch as he just kind of shies his way out of the way of that pitch.
Yeah, always a scary spot to see the ball thrown to, and especially when you see a guy who doesn't have any kind of face guard on his helmet. It's always a scary one when they go up towards the face.
So a 2-2 count to Thomas. He's got 2 runners on and a 4-3 deficit. Thomas rips that one down the left side, and that's going to be trouble. Here comes 1 run for Canes Midwest. Thomas now at second base, and they will hold at third. So a off the bench RBI double for Thomas, and we've now got a tie ball game.
Yeah, you can't ask for much more out of a pinch hitter right there. We talked about how fortunate this team is. You can take a guy out of the lineup and replace him with a Louisville commit, and absolutely showing off right there with the RBI double right when they needed it.
So we are tied up now at 4-4. Go from Tanner Thomas back to the top of the order and Brandon Logan.
4th trip to the plate for Brandon Logan.
Getting a courtesy runner, or pinch runner, excuse me, at third. Yeah, Brandon Logan has seemingly been at the plate every time we've blinked, as you mentioned, the fourth trip to the plate for the Notre Dame signee. All tied up now at 4-4 here in the fifth. Bad miss from Parker there, but luckily hauled in from by the glove of Klapinski. Stops it from becoming much more trouble. Comes the 2-0 from Parker. The strike in the outside corner.
It's a well-placed pitch right there for Parker, who's kind of struggled just a little bit in this inning.
Comes the 16th pitch of this inning for him. Logan skies that one into center field. A runner is going to take off from third, and the throw is going to be wide, and now we've got a one-run lead for Canes Midwest, and they have responded nicely here in the fifth.
Yeah, it seems like they weren't a big fan of us talking about their first time batting without the lead. And they go out, they tie the ball game up, and then they quickly regain the lead that they had for most of this game.
Now up 5-4 as we sit here in the top of the fifth inning.
Certainly couldn't ask for much more out of the offenses on both of these sides.
Mason Barth, who has pitched the entire game so far for Canes Midwest. See if he comes back out for a fifth inning.
Seems like we missed something there on our cameras. But
well, they fly out to Mason Barth for Mason Barth, and nonetheless, though, his team takes a 5-4 lead in the championship game of the 17U Division and National Program Invitational. As you can see, a new pitcher coming out. We'll tell you about him when we return from the NPI. Mason Barth's day is over for Canes Midwest after 4 innings, and they will now turn things over to Pernell Whitsitt. Whitsitt, a 2024, now currently at Lincoln Trail Junior College out of Northrop High School in Indiana. He's going to have to face a tough part of the order as he looks at Knights Nation's Marshall Loke, followed by Jacob Parker and Cole Perkins. 5-4 lead for Canes Midwest as we sit here in the fifth inning. The championship game, the 17U division of the National Program Invitational.
Whitsitt can run it up to 88 on the fastball, but starting off right there, another breaking ball looks really good. Good movement out of it.
He's got an 0-2 count on LSU signee Marshall Loke. Loke rips that up the middle. He's going to be making his way to second base as that goes all the way to the wall. Marshall Loke's got himself a stand-up double to start things off for Knights Nation here in the fifth.
Yeah, good work right there. It seemed like he was just waiting on a pitch to hit, and that was the one for Marshall Loke.
Go from Loke to Jacob Parker. You're going to find too many more dangerous back-to-back hitters that any pitcher is going to have to step into an outing and face as he goes from an LSU signee to a Mississippi State signee. One with a ton of juice in that bat.
Yeah, really just this top 4 is just a lethal group of hitters.
Whitsitt misses. Count's now going to be 2-0 to Parker. Make it 3-0. See one of our interns, Tucker, back there with a camera. Word has it that Tucker will be back this next summer to do exactly what he's doing right now on film.
Yeah, sitting in this cold studio is making me very excited for the summer months here.
It does become a little bit much, though. It's like the spring is probably about as good as it gets.
Yeah, yeah.
That's in for a strike.
When we're out here and it's like April and it's 80 degrees, it's beautiful.
And that wind is just ripping. The stadium pulse is going really high for Whitsitt. Sends that foul. Cole Perkins got himself a 3-1 count. Runners at first and second. He's going to make his way down to first, and the bases are now going to be loaded for Cole Dean.
Not the way that Pernell Whitsitt wanted his day to start on the mound.
Yeah, he goes double walk.
See what he has to offer here. See if he can try and just generate some outs. It's really what you're looking for now.
We've already seen a 2-base hit off the bat of Dean. He does that again. Going to be all kinds of trouble. Spikes that first pitch. Going out to have a word with Whitsitt here. The Lincoln Trail freshman, one of the only player in this game who's currently in college. It's just not working out too well for him as he stepped in relief of Mason Barth.
Yeah, definitely in a position now where you just can't afford to give up any runs, and with no outs and bases loaded, you maybe have to make a decision here. Can he handle it? Can he get the outs needed to try and get out of this unscathed, or at least just control the damage? And it looks like they'll give him the chance.
Canes Midwest up 5-4, but the bases are again loaded with nobody out here in the 5th. Got Cole Dean and Trey Bryant in the on-deck circle. Dean, the South Alabama signee, again, has already doubled today. Bad miss as that one goes to the backstop, and the throw is going to get away from Whitsitt.
Off the helmet.
Yeah, so we're going to have a run score. We've got a tie ball game at 5-5.
And now it's going to be the end of Whitsitt's day. So he gave him a chance, and unfortunately that one gets to the backstop and ends his outing.
So we're all notched up at 5-5. We're going to have a pitching change for Canes Midwest, and we'll tell you about that new arm when we come back from the Baseball Village. Cole Dean's AB will continue, and it will be with Landon Sarkey on the mound for Canes Midwest with the bases loaded and nobody out here in the 5th inning. tough situation in a 2-0 count. Make that 3-0 that Sarkey walks into. The Marion University signee has his hands full with now a 5-5 ball game.
Yeah, really difficult spot in the lineup for Pernell Whitsett to come in and have to face, and ends up really paying the price here.
So he's going to walk him. So now Trey Bryant at the plate.
Now if you're Knights Nation, you're just trying to figure out how well you can keep this thing alive. You don't want to get too antsy. You don't want to start making mistakes here at the plate, but at the same time, you need some more runs, and you'd like to really pad it now if you can get the lead here, and you're hoping to do so right here with Trey Bryant.
Bryant puts that in play into left field. Here comes one run. They will hold at third, and now we got a 6-5 lead for Knights Nation as Trey Bryant, the Arizona State signee, comes through.
Yeah, that's a huge spot right there. You needed the run to get the lead, and now Knights Nation has a little bit more room to play.
Yeah, it had forgotten about the pass ball. I thought the bases were still loaded. We had the pass ball from Pernell Whitsett that allowed us to have a tie ball game, but Trey Bryant changes that, and it's now 6-5 advantage for Knights Nation here in the fifth. Now here's Andrew Klopinski. That's in for a strike. That one at 80 miles an hour. Still hunting for the first out of this inning.
Yeah, Knights Nation, just a beautiful approach at the plate so far in this inning. They've been really patient, making it come to them. You get the early hit by Loke, and then a couple of walks consecutively, and some good base running as well, and they are flying right now.
They just absolutely wear you down as Sarkey had to dance his way out of that one, and one run scores. Here comes a second run.
Wow.
Man, we are just seeing Knights Nation taking over as now Klopinski makes his way to second base.
Yeah, and it seems like, between some errant pitching and now a couple of errant throws, it just seems like Knights Nation has just worn them down all the way through, and now have really gotten a chance to open things up here late in this game.
Knights Nation out in front now, and now here comes Noah Lewis. It's in for a strike.
Lewis, the one who got things started and set up Dan Ray's 2-run home run, so we'll see if he's still got a little bit more magic to come.
Oh, hits off of his foot on the foul ball, and man, I know Noah Lewis is feeling that one.
That is the worst. I think that'll put his 60 at like 6'6" now.
See if he can stretch that out a little bit and continue this AB.
One of the worst feelings in baseball, fouling the ball off your foot.
Give him a second to gather himself now as the count's 0-2. Still nobody out in this inning. Barzum has it, throws it to first in time for the out. They're going to have him doubled up.
That was perfectly played by Zahir Barzum to see him running out.
Taking off for home. We got an absolute mess on our hands. Belza goes to third. Are they going to have him at home? And they do. Man, what if
that's great work.
That's a crazy play there as we were able to see the double play. But, man, I thought they were going to have him at second base. They were just going to go back to the bag. But runs to third, and then we get a run down between third and home. When they finally get the second out, Knights Nation denied another run. They're up 8-5 here in the fifth inning, and nearly had a ninth run, but doesn't come through, and now we're going to see Dane Ray. He have the 2-run home run back at the plate again.
That was perfectly played by Canes Midwest. Barzum took his time getting the out at first base to not maybe let things start falling into place quickly, and then you have a great run down back to second base. You stay aware of things going on. You get the play at home. Then you just kind of textbook get the player in the rundown between third and home, and you get that that second out. But well played right there by Canes Midwest after a couple of defensive mishaps.
Rain fouls that off. And really, I mean, you give credit to Knights Nation for creating that chaos, too. I mean, that was some really smart base running. Didn't work out in their favor, getting the guy caught at home. But, man, nice opportunity created for them as they made Canes Midwest really had to play some heads-up baseball.
And now we'll see if Knights Nation can continue to add some runs. That double play certainly throws things off a little bit, but it doesn't mean they're done.
9-5 lead. Dane Ray sends us into the outfield, and that is going to be caught near the wall.
Oh, wow.
Man, what a catch in center field as he nearly had himself extra bases and another RBI. We're going to see a 9-5 advantage for Knights Nation as we march along to the 6th inning. You're watching the Game Rewind from the NPI.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, you'll always find more fun with great brands at the best prices. More of this, and this. So you can get together for a little of that, and a lot more of that. And even some of that, and that's good. Have more fun with great brands at the best prices. Only at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
The 6th inning of the championship game, the 17U division in the National Program Invitational. You're watching our Game Rewind. Grayson, Rosen, Cory, McCartney with you. Taylor Belza will be at the plate for Canes Midwest, followed by Zahir Barzum and Will Coleman. 9-5 is the lead for for Knights Nation as they just absolutely erupted in the 5th inning with 4 runs. Belza fouls that first one off.
And JoJo Parker continues on the mound, trying to maybe pull his things together a little bit. He's had a couple of tricky innings, but looking to anchor things down here in the 6th. And obviously, Canes Midwest has a lot to make up for here. We saw a little bit of errant pitching and then a couple defensive mishaps that not only allowed runs to score, but also allowed runners to advance on the base paths. And now Canes Midwest kind of scrambling here in the top of the 6th.
Parker delivers. That's in for a strike to Belza. (0-2) is the count. The Auburn signee looking to get things started for Canes Midwest and fight their way back and swing and a miss, and he goes down on strikes to start off the 6th.
That's a great at-bat for JoJo Parker. I think maybe his most well-pitched at-bat to this point in this game. That was pretty perfect.
Here's Zahir Barzum, who you were just talking as we went to the end of the last inning, and the heads-up baseball that we saw out of him playing shortstop and getting a rundown going in between 3rd and home. That was really just some smart baseball on display from the West Virginia signee.
Yeah, just put some juice into that foul ball lineup or liner, but see what he's got here. See if he can bring some life to Canes Midwest here.
Sends that foul. Canes Midwest scored 2 runs in the 1st. Knights Nation answered to notch it up at 2-2, but Canes Midwest took over 3-2. Then they watched their first deficit of the game come off the bat of Dane Ray in the 4th inning when he hit a 2-run home run. They responded again with 2 runs in the 5th. Just misses.
Close one.
They responded with 2 runs in the 5th to take the lead over again, but then Knights Nation fight back 4 runs in the 5th to bring us to this 8-5 game here as we sit here in the top of the 6th inning. Barzum fouls that one off. Parker delivers. That one's going to just miss on the breaking ball. Loopy curveball. It registered at 46 miles an hour, but I have to imagine that can't possibly
I think
be
maybe
right.
our radar got the wrong angle on that one. Maybe the ball was a defect because Parker turned it in for a new one.
Sends that foul.
A long at bat here for Zahir Barjum. Kind of working the count here with JoJo Parker.
The next pitch will be the 10th of this at bat. And I see Zahir Barja fire this one into left field. What a dramatic catch in left field, man. Absolute diving play in left field from Noah Lewis to get the out. And now we have 2 down here for Canes Midwest, and it's all going to come down to Will Coleman.
That was some fantastic work out there in left field. And you saw Bartram kind of slip heading out of the box, so maybe he's kind of happy. Well, obviously he's not happy he got out, but maybe happy he didn't get past him because he could have gotten gunned at second base with that slow start.
Two down. In for a strike to Coleman, the Kentucky signee.
Seen Coleman have some good moments here, scoring a run earlier in the game and looking to make an impact here, keep his team alive.
He's now got an 0-2 count, down to his last strike.
In a position where this could very well be Canes Midwest's last attempt at winning this game.
Oh, puts it in play. Parker reaches out. Oh, second baseman unable to make the play, so we're going to have Coleman at first base with 2 down.
Now just a couple of tough moments where things could have been ended, but an error at second base for Knights Nation.
Now here's Landon Fry. Two down, runner at first in the form of Coleman. First pitch, he sends that one into right field for a base hit. Now all of a sudden, Canes Midwest with 2 down have runners at first and second.
I mean, you can never count out a team with 2 outs. Ask Knights Nation. They did the same thing earlier and set up a 2-run home run to take the lead. So now Canes Midwest hoping to find some 2-out magic of their own.
Landon Sarkey's turn at the plate now. Again, we've got a 8-5 game. First pitch, Sarkey sends that into right center. That one's down up against the wall. Here comes 1 run. Coleman is going to make his way home as well.
Kind of slipped around.
Yeah, Landon Sarkey's got himself a 2-run double, and we've got an 8-7 game with 2 outs here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, it looked like at third base, the third baseman for Knights Nation was getting out of the way very slowly for Will Coleman, and as he rounded third base, he kind of stumbled there and lost footing, but still makes it home and still scores that run.
So Matthew Major's turn now, so we've got a 1-run game.
What an insane turn of events here in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, all right, they had them down to their last strike, and then Will Coleman comes through with a ball that was just misplayed. An error at second base allows Coleman to reach. Then you have Fry come through with the base hit on the first pitch. And then Landon Sarkey follows, jumps on the first pitch as well, and gets himself a 2-run double. And all of a sudden, what was a comfortable lead for Knights Nation has dwindled to 1 run as we sit here with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Yeah, in a matter of 3 pitches, you go from down to your last strike to scoring 2 runs and continuing to show some late life in this game.
Tulane signee Matthew Major with a chance to tie this thing up as that's in for a strike.
Last time up, got hit by a pitch and let things keep going in his inning. This time looking to make a contribution of his own here.
That's in for a strike. So now, once again, down to the final strike. Runner at second base, 8-7 game. Sends that one. Oh, third base cuts across, makes the throw to first. in time for the out. Ninth Nation Scout holds on, and our 17U division champions in the National Program Invitational. And what an absolutely epic game, an epic finish. We saw Canes Midwest fight back, put the pressure on Knights Nation, and then they dropped the hammer and finish it off to claim the championship.
That was an unbelievable finish for us here. You saw Major put all of it that he had on the line there, diving into first base kind of dangerously. But, wow, what an ending to this game. You have Canes Midwest. They get the early lead, and they kind of just held on to it. Things got tied up. They take the lead right back. They face their first deficit of the game off a 2-run home run. And I think that 2-run home run was a big moment. I think it was really telling for Knights Nation. We talked about in this game, we saw firepower across the lineup, and that was the epitome. With 2 outs, the last 2 guys in your lineup hit a single and then a 2-run home run to take your first lead of the game, and then Knights Nation just kept going from there. They found moments all across the lineup, and it set them up for what turned out to be a big victory.
Yeah, a 9-hit day for Knights Nation, including 3 extra base hits. Of course, the biggest blow coming from a home run from Dane Ray. And, part of a big day for the Louisiana Monroe signing. We talked about this Knights Nation lineup. And you can talk about top-heavy as much as you want to when you've got the Parker twins and you've got Marshall Loke and you've got those guys at the top. I thought the bottom of the order was absolutely massive for Knights Nation in this game, and I think that really speaks to what Ray was able to do at the plate.
Definitely.
Well, we're going to be back here all winter long for these game rewinds, so make sure you stick with us as we'll be back with another next week. Make sure you're following the LakePoint Sports social channels as we'll continue to pump out all the great content that we continue to provide, and we'll also make sure we keep you abreast on which games that we will be doing. But until next time, for Grayson Rosen and producer Jack McCartney, I'm Cory McCartney, and we are signing off from LakePoint Sports.